Today's episode is brought to you by the Hippocratic Collective. Check out our shows and join the conversation at thehippocratic-collective.com. Hello, I'm Joan. I'm a Canadian family physician who also works as a restorative medical educator, facilitator, and coach. I create spaces that rehumanize the work of healthcare. I'm creating this podcast to remind myself, as well as anyone else working in a helping profession, that when you are working and caring for your human patients, you are the other human in the room. Hello there, healthcare humans. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode of The Other Human in the Room. So, this is a very special episode because it is my birthday. Not only is it my birthday, it is my 40th birthday. And I had this idea to record an episode, just reflecting on what that means to me. You know, this whole podcast is about reminding ourselves that we are human, and there's nothing like the big milestones to make you reflect on birthdays. And I have a bunch of fun things that when I thought of what I wanted to do on my 40th birthday, it definitely included time of reflection, time of journaling, and sort of capturing my thoughts. And I have already done a bit of that, but honestly, creating this podcast and having this as a timestamp and a time capsule, if you will, of what I was going through on the day I turned 40, it just delighted me too much. So I said, okay, I have to do it. As it's going, you know, this day, it's a Tuesday, and I should, in quotes, be in clinic, but actually quite a number of my colleagues set the stage for me that way, where they would often take their birthday off. And I thought, absolutely, I'm going to follow in their footsteps. So I also blocked the day off. My wonderful, wonderful practice partner, Amy, is covering the inbox and seeing patients yesterday and tomorrow. And I am just releasing all responsibility that way and instead having a delicious, wonderful day by myself. I got to do some celebration with some family on the weekend and go out for nice meals. Tonight, I'm going to go pick up donuts with my kiddos, and that's become our tradition. Instead of like cakes and stuff, we get donuts and put candles on them and sing happy birthday. Definitely going to take a nap later. And I think I'm actually going to go shopping and see if I can find some fun clothes that feel good and look good on my body, and just take the time that it really takes to do that kind of shopping, honestly, and just enjoy. So those are some of my plans for later today. But for now, I wanted to go on a trip down memory lane. I discovered recently in a box of journals and stuff, you can see a bunch of my old journals. I was at my parents' house looking through boxes in the basement and found this whole, you know, like banker's box worth of letters and journals and like scrapbooks and stuff from my childhood. And in it, I found this. And if you are listening, I know a lot of you listen to this podcast, though there is a version on YouTube if you want to see the visuals of this, but I'll try and describe. So I found this. It says Millennium Mission. Enclosed in this time capsule are the hopes and dreams of a generation with much promise, a generation to which I belong. We cherish our time and look forward with courage. And as you see, it's 2000. So I have it dated. Good for me. Joan Chan. Something I noticed and is lost to the sands of time, but I would sign my name Joan Chan 85 a lot. I was born in 1986. So I don't understand why I don't know why I was Joan Chan 85. I'll have to read through the journals and see if I can find the origin of that, but I would sign my name that way for some cute reason. And then you can see it was on the 17th of January, 2000. And I gave myself the instructions, date to open, when I'm an adult. And I figure 40 is adult enough. I don't think do I feel like an adult? Yeah, there's ways I feel like an adult, but there's ways I definitely don't. I definitely don't have it all figured out and all the things you think you will feel when you're an adult. But I feel like I'm not going to get more of that feeling. So it's time to open it. So I thought that would be one of the big things I do in this episode is open it and then read whatever it says and react to it. And then also use this episode, like I said already, as a time capsule for the future. Because, okay, so I was, I think, 14. No, I was still 13 when I wrote this. I turned 14 the year of 2000, just to date me in space and time. And yeah, so then I didn't do the math ahead of time, and I'm not gonna do it in my head. So let me just quickly pull a calendar. One thing you should know about me is mental math still gives me stage fright, especially when I'm being recorded. Absolutely not. So 40 minus 13, that was 27 years ago. I suppose that math makes sense when you think about it, because I wrote it in 2000. Actually, no, it's 26 years ago, because it's only 2026 now. Joan. See, I get flustered about math and then I don't use common sense. Okay, so 26 years ago. And so then I'm going to be sending a time capsule to myself to revisit as often as I like, really, but to make sure I revisit when I am 66, 26 years from now. That will be very far in the future. Holy moly, being 66. But I'm in the middle of those two ages. Isn't that wild? Time is hilarious. So, yeah, I thought, let's go back. Let's go back and see what I had to say there. Oh, a couple other things I wanted to just like, I guess, show the camera / myself. I also discovered this giant scrapbook that and originally was supposed to be a mini dictionnaire from when I was in grade 8, because I would have been in grade 8. Yeah, in 2000 I was in grade 8. Has some pretty sweet stickers on it, including Spice Girls stickers. Absolutely. Has a little photo of baby Joan there. There she is, smiling brightly in a car. Oh, it has some drawings. Oh, there's one that was a particularly, yes. Okay, can you tell who that is? Does it look like Kevin from the Backstreet Boys? Because I'm pretty sure that's who it's supposed to be. And the artist in me still thrives. Okay, look at this little cutie in 1998. Absolutely wearing my glasses. Oh, tooth envelope. I think there's a baby tooth in here. So, I mean, there's all sorts of gems in here. Yes, you can see birthday 00, turn 14. There's a bunch of birthday cards from the friends I had when I turned 14. And then, what was the other thing I wanted to show? Oh, yes, career info. Back when I wanted to be an elementary school teacher. Now having 2 children in elementary school, absolutely not. Those heroes those are the warriors. Those are the heroes of our time for sure. And couldn't be me. Instead, I became a doctor. Much easier than elementary school teacher, in my opinion. Here's a couple other photos of me. This is me in 2000, looking like a little cutie. So that's the girl that we're going to now time travel back in time to go see and see what she had to say. Some predictions I have for what's in this, especially because it's called Millennium Mission. It's Premier School Agendas. The thing I was assuming is that this was Christian, because I was definitely a Christian in 2000. And looking back at my old journals, sometimes it's actually pretty 50-50 when I was looking back so far. So about half of it is me talking about celebrities I had a crush on, or boys I had a crush on, or what who my friends had crushes on, or I thought they had crushes on. And just, there's a whole page where I just list all of my friends and count up how many friends I have, all of that delightfulness. There was a really sweet one where it's like, what's the worst part of being an adolescent is all these daydreams I keep having about boys. Like, I was really plagued by that, but wrote a lot about it. So I think I was secretly having a good time underneath my struggle. And then the other half was like direct letters to God, and writing about God, and writing about my thoughts about him, and asking him for things and that kind of thing. So that's what I'm assuming is in here, but I actually don't know. So let's find out. I'm opening it. It's happening. Let's see what she had to say. I'm also aware this might be like really not that profound, but even if this is not that profound, it's got me thinking, and I already have some stuff written down of like the things I want to remember about this time, and the things I want to remind myself that I felt now in the future. So the rest of it will be perhaps more profound than whatever this is going to be. But I also would like to just like update some of these categories. Okay. Whoa, look at this. This is quite a little. Oh, did I put anything in this pouch? There's like a pouch here. Looks like I put one tiny thing in. I'll have to see what that is. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Ooh. Realize if I put it between where my microphone is. So Millennium Mission. And then there's all these little things, all these little categories that I filled out. So let's explore them together, shall we? I guess I will just start on the left and work my way around. Okay. My fitness goal for 6 months from now is to do better in the 5-kilometer race. That's still pretty, well, no, I don't care about races anymore. One sport figure who represents who I would like to be, and I put Michael Jordan in brackets, the best. That was probably the only sports figure I knew. And I know a couple more, but not that many more today. Average Z's I get each night, 8 to 9 hours. Good for me. Average Z's I need each night, 10 to 12 hours. 12 hours, girl. I guess I was a teenager, but I don't think so. 3 junk foods I like but should eat less of. Chips, pop, and then I put pizza, ? All right, this is a little shamey. I'm like, who cares? And why is this in the time capsule? I don't know. Anyway, addictions are unhealthy. Thanks, time capsule. To me, these are the 3 worst addictions: smoking, drinking, drugs. Well, sure. Why does that have to go in a time capsule? Okay, this is hilarious. 2 things I do to relax: read, sleep/lie down. Never change, girl. Same. Sleep/lie down, absolutely. Reading, absolutely. So haven't changed there. Stuff my friends and I like to do includes shopping in capital letters. That is what I'm doing later today, but I have to say I really don't do that very much anymore. And seeing movies. I have rediscovered seeing movies in theaters in the past. I mean, I always knew it was good, but with the pandemic, we all stopped for a while. And also even before that, like young kids, etc. But my kiddos now are at an age where that's who those are my friends now, or my sons and my husband. And what I do with them is see movies with them. Absolutely. Oh, this whole category I'm realizing is our health is our wealth. I understand. So I'm in the health section. Ugh, gotta get out of here. Okay, last thing in the health section. 3 things I like doing that help me stay fit: running, soccer, swimming. Soccer. Don't play that anymore. That's fun. Okay, so next category, dare to care, love of life. My 2 best friends, I guess I won't name these random people, but I am still actually in contact with one of these 2 people and not at all with the other. And isn't that just how life goes? But only good vibes and good feelings for both. What random act of kindness have I done lately? And I was very honest. I said, none lately. I won't do any acts of kindness, especially not a random one. Good. You know what? The act of kindness was self-kindness and being honest in that moment. Good for me. What are 3 things people do that I see as hurtful? Tease, hurt/wound, physically, ew. Gossip. You know what? I still agree with those. 2 issues I care deeply about: rights of people, abuse. No more, I put in brackets. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't say I was like a strong activist as a teenager, but it's good to know that I cared about the rights of people. And I do still care about those things. Absolutely. My pet peeve. Ugh, this is the same. Nail biting, chewing loudly. I think I've talked on this podcast at least once about how I definitely have that misophonia thing where like certain sounds I feel like I'm dying inside. And those are still them. Absolutely. Find happiness in small things. What did I enjoy today? Warmth, God, but he's big. Okay. Because it's not just a small thing. Talking to not friend people. Strangers, is that what I'm saying? My new shirt. Yes. Do you remember when you were in grade 8 and you would get a new shirt? I had this shirt, baby blue tank top. Loved it. It was like spaghetti strap, but slightly thicker straps. I just was obsessed with that thing. And then one day it got a stain in it in some way, and I was devastated. That was, I was going to say the worst day of my life. It wasn't, but it was a bad day. People who care about me, my family, my friends, I put in bracket, I hope. Oh, girl, I know. It's hard. Grade 8 is hard. Being alive is hard. Humanity is hard. Okay. Next category is grow to know, live and learn. 3 things I enjoy learning about: music, instruments, algebra, different cultures. Yeah, I can't say I do as much algebra anymore, but algebra was so fun and relaxing, wasn't it? Wasn't it nice to just learn something and then there'll be an answer? Except when the answer in the back of the book was wrong. I remember the first time I noticed that and I felt betrayed. Can you relate? 3 new skills I want to learn: to dance, to play sax, question mark, organization. That one has an exclamation mark. Yes, my room was very messy and it is less messy now. So I will say, of these skills, I never learned to play the sax, and that's okay. I played the clarinet instead, though I can't anymore. Since that time, I now play the ukulele. Good for me. I have learned to dance as much as I need to learn to dance, and that I just do dance as often as I like. This morning, for my exercise time, I just danced freely and ecstatically, and it felt so friggin' good. So I can say that that is a skill I've got down now. And organization, I would say I have absolutely mastered that skill as much as I want to. I think I can say with confidence, and I feel good about that. So millennium mission accomplished on those skills I wanted to learn back then. Hooray! 3 books I want to read. Cruel Intentions book. Was that based on a book? I remember watching that movie and things were awakened, that's for sure. The 4th, 5th, etc. of Harry Potter. Absolutely read all of those. The Next California Diary. Oh my gosh. Did any of you read the California Diaries? Okay. Did you read the Babysitter's Club? Probably. And did you know there was a spin-off series, I think by the same author, called the California Diaries? The only overlapping character was Dawn. Do you remember Dawn? Her main personality trait in the Babysitter's Club is that she was from California, if you may recall. So then I guess at some point in this series, she goes back to California, and now she's more of a teenager. And each of the books was a diary of one of the characters. So it was either her, she was the most boring, to be honest, or it was one of her friends. I remember one of her friends, her name was Sunny, and she was kind of rebellious and did, I don't remember if she actually drank or smoked, but she was of that ilk. But she was hiding pain because I think her mom had cancer or something. It was she had a secret sadness. And then there was a boy character named Ducky that I think, if it was written these days, would be gay, but in that time, I can't remember. And then there was another character that was a celebrity in some way, if I'm remembering. Anyway, I love that series. And thank you, Time Capsule, for reminding me of it. My best learning resources: internet. See, we had the internet back then. It was not like the internet now, though, I'll tell you that. Teachers, classmates. Oh, I thought my classmates were my learning resources, huh? That's good. Yeah. Favorite subject, DD. What is DD? What subject was DD? I have no idea. DD, what does that stand for? I would have thought it was math or something. DD, okay. What 2 things do I need to learn to be successful in my eyes? Ooh. All I can from school and get along with others easily. Hello, little people pleaser. You know what? I feel like that skill was already pretty good even back then, girl. So you were already successful. And guess what? Now, as you age, you can learn to be successful by maybe not getting along as well with people in certain ways, and that can be growth for you. That's that's a little profound moment, actually. That's really sweet. 3 things I want to achieve in my life. Okay, here we go. Number 1, make a difference. I feel like that's going pretty good. Number 2, serve God. Well, I now believe my God of my understanding is nature, humanity, and my body. And I do believe that I do my best to serve those. And so the God I was talking about back then, no longer in the picture, but still feel like I'm like carrying on the essence of what I meant back then. And the third thing I want to achieve in my life is never stop learning. Oh, I'm starting to get teary about it just because, like, I'm so glad I wanted that back then. And I definitely still want it now. That's like one of the best things of life in general is to never stop learning. Hey, it's just so much fun. Yes, we're the same. My 13-year-old self and me. Not about some of the things, but about a lot of these things. Okay. Our future is key. Leave a legacy. Time travel. Oh, here we go. Time travel. What am I doing in 10 years? I'm teaching and or discovering some cure or something. Really specific vision. And in 10 years, okay, first of all, in 10 years, I was going to be 23 or 24. So I wasn't really thinking specifically about that. I was still going to be in school. I was still in school. I was not teaching or discovering some cure or something. Well, I was doing something, which was I was in school. What would I like people to remember about me? That I was / and am a Christian. I do think that there's probably some people from that time who, especially if they don't know me anymore, that is the main trait they remember about me. And so that's great for her goals back then. But I am glad that I want to move on from that now. 3 things I'm proud about myself. I am a Christian. I get good grades. I don't make enemies. I am proud of myself for not making enemies. To me, that's like my sweet little people pleaser coming out again. I'm not saying it's good to make enemies and on purpose for pleasure or sport, I guess, but that's really, I mean, those are telling, aren't they? And I get good grades. I'm a good girl. This is what I wish to contribute to society. Make a difference through some discovery, in brackets, maybe. Yeah. So the self-concept is still forming, and really discovering what I love and am passionate about and am good at has yet to emerge. And that makes sense because I'm 13 or 14 or whatever at this point. Okay, this thing in the middle, Millennium Mission, to be the best you can be. A mission statement helps you focus on the kind of person you want to be. Complete the time capsule questions, then create your own. Okay, personal mission statement. There you go. So I answered all these questions. And my personal mission statement is to do well and to do what God tells me to. God loves you, baby. Can you see that? God loves you, baby. Yes. That is definitely Joni Pony's little goal back then. Oh, what a cutie. She just wanted to be a good girl and not make any enemies. No enemies for this one. I want to really reflect a little bit about, I'm not answering all those questions again. And the whole health section can suck it, to be honest. Love of life. I'm going to kind of think through which ones of those I want to re-answer now. But there's a little bit more. It's called messages, memories, and stuff. We're saying and stuff here. Okay. In 5, 10, or 15 years, I waited much longer than that. I waited 26 years. You will be a different person. I'll say it will be interesting to see what you were like in 1999/2000. It has been interesting, except don't ask me about what foods I shouldn't eat. I'm still a little annoyed with that part if you can't tell. Okay. So these are so the magazine I like best is Brio And YM. YM. Oof. Was that, I think, okay, so Brio was the Christian teen magazine, and it was great. It was really great, you know? I remember learning some things about my body. I mean, it was through the lens of purity culture, so some of it was a little twisted now that I think back, but it normalized periods and stuff. That's good. And then YM, was YM Christian? Anyone read YM? I think it wasn't. I think it was like just a general teen magazine, CoverGirl ads or whatever. I really liked CoverGirl. That was like my go-to makeup back then. Okay, and then it says, what would I buy with an extra $5, $20, $50? Okay, what would I buy with an extra $5? I wrote makeup, speaking of CoverGirl. $20 CD/makeup. Absolutely, get a bundle. $50 shirt/pants. Now, you can't buy a shirt/pants for $50. Well, you could, I guess, but I do try and buy clothes that have slightly higher quality. So I think if I bought a shirt and I'm going shopping later, I'm not aiming to buy a shirt and pants for $50. But if it's on sale, actually, that would be a thrill. My coolest day this year was when I came back from my operation and everyone was welcoming me back. Oh my goodness. Okay, that one needs a little context. So in grade 8, which was the time of this, and actually that had just happened. I had had my operation, I think it was in like November, December of grade 8. So my operation was, I got plastic surgery. I got my ears pinned back, which back in those times, I don't think it's true anymore. And you think I would know as a physician, but I don't know. No one asks for this anymore. Maybe people don't want it anymore. But when I was young, my ears stuck out. And when I was in grade 8, that was, I think, the first and honestly only time I can remember, a couple of boys teased me about it and they called me Dumbo. And I went home to my mom and I cried and I was like, they called me Dumbo. And my mom immediately, a physician herself, was like, there's a surgery for that. Mhm. And it's covered if we do it before like if you're 13 and under. And I was 13 then. So it was like, let's go. So yeah, I got that surgery. I remember some other of my friends were very concerned. They're like, you're getting plastic surgery and that's bad. And then I felt bad about it, but I still wanted it. It was a very confusing time. And I loved being home. I think I was home for like a month or something, which in retrospect, I just had bandages on my ears and I think that was going to be embarrassing. So then it was better for me to stay home. And they had to keep squished back, though I think the stitches would have held. I don't remember. But I got to read The War of the Worlds and just write a book report about it. And I love doing homework. So it was just like extra homework without any of the terrifying social pressures of being in a grade 8 classroom with people that weren't very nice to me. So that was great. And then when I came back, people were nice to me. Ugh. And that's just the thing I wanted most. I didn't want enemies. I wanted to fit in. Okay. I was like, grade 8. 2 shows I never miss: Boy Meets World, Odd Man Out. I definitely remember Boy Meets World, and I couldn't pick Odd Man Out in a lineup. I've never heard of that show before. Obviously, I did. It was my second favorite TV show. This was slightly before the Gilmore Girls of it all. That was more in like grade 9. Okay, and then the only little piece of memorabilia paraphernalia that I put in this envelope. Oh, looks like it was from the Famous Players movie theater in Ancaster, where I grew up, Silver City. That's right. And I got to go to see this for $8. And it was an AA movie, y'all. AA is supposed to be adults admission. Like, I was too young for this movie. The movie was The Talented Mr. Ripley. And I remember it having confusing, mature themes that my sweet, sheltered Christian self did not understand. And nudity. Didn't you see Matt Damon, Jude Law? Those were both in it, right? But anyway, I'm fine. But that's the one in this time capsule. I'm like, wow, looking to the future, I wanted to remember that I had seen The Talented Mr. Ripley. You know what? I'm glad I do remember that. Here's some more. And then I think we're done. Clothing. The coolest thing I wear. Oh, yes. My monkey Chinese shirt with red sleeves. Yes, I had a couple different shirts that had like a cartoon monkey. And remember how we all also had shirts with Chinese characters on them? And my dad was very nice about not telling me if they meant nothing or whatever. And there were some of my favorites, especially the one it looked like it was a t-shirt with a long sleeve shirt underneath, but it was actually just all one shirt, but that was the style. Absolutely. And then today's goofiest fashion craze, is guys wearing their pants so low that their underwear shows. And that is still goofy to this day. But I do remember those boys with their like boxer shorts hanging out. Looked pretty silly. What kind of computers do I use at school? Old ones. Home. Newer ones. I want an iMac. What kind of computers do I use? This sort of seems, I mean, we were just all getting computers, weren't we? The vehicle I would choose for myself, a metallic blue VW Beetle. That was my dream car all throughout my childhood and adolescence. And to this day, I've never had one because really it's not that practical. And now I have a van. And that's my new dream car. It's my Chrysler Pacifica black van. And I love it. And I drive it everywhere. And it's very comfortable. But that was the dream. Metallic blue, not baby blue, metallic blue. My friends will remember me most for hopefully being a Christian, probably for being a, in quotes, brainer. And that tells you everything you need to know about me back then, for sure. The movie I most want to own, yes, 10 Things I Hate About You. Great taste, Teen Joan. I think I do own it now. I better. I should watch that. Maybe I should watch that today. That would be fun. The class, R.I.P. Heath Ledger. There was a picture of Heath Ledger in here. Loved him then, love him now. The class I like most, music. Why? Do easy and interesting things like play the clarinet. I did like easy and interesting things, and I still do. My sport, soccer. Junk foods. What do I buy? What does it cost? Chips, 75 cents / free. If I steal it, I guess. Pop, $1. Ice cream, $1 / free. I love the / free. Yes, I see. Because it's supposed to be like, back in my day, chips cost 75 cents. Did you have this at your school where you could go and there was like chip seller people, like they'd be your classmates, but they got to run the chip shop and you could buy little bags of chips from them and pop and stuff? Good times. Oh, yes. Top 3 tunes of this year for me. Mambo number 5, Blue Song, Steal My Sunshine. These are still bangers to this day. And the Blue Song got a renaissance somewhat recently, didn't it? There was like a remix song of it, wasn't there? Look at me. I'm old. There you go. Okay. Be the best you can be. 13-year-old sweetie pie. All right. So that was me back then. Thoughts and reflections. You know what? I think my predictions are correct. I am still really wishing I knew what DD was. What class was that? I don't know. And so that's a mystery I guess we'll just take to the grave. And that's okay. Otherwise, it had about as much God as I thought it would. And I just, she's a little cutie. She's just as enthusiastic back then as she is now. I'm talking about myself in the third person. And she just was really passionate about God back then. And now I'm more passionate about like being human and enjoying life. But really, those can be seen as the same thing when you look at it in a different light. Hey, I am so glad that I no longer view success in the same way. So those are the ones I want to think about, put myself on the spot. What are my answers now? I'm not doing that food section. That section's garbage. I'm gonna do the ones that are like live and learn and the future is the key, because those ones were fun. 3 things I enjoy learning about now at the age of 40. I still enjoy learning about music. I am still enjoying singing and playing on the ukulele, and I'm really enjoying like learning how to sing sort of better, in the sense of like I'm in that choir and I really enjoy using my voice and learning different techniques of how to, take care of my vocal cords and hit things in different ways. And I'm really enjoying that a lot. I've also restarted playing the piano and I'm enjoying learning that. So I'd say just music, absolutely still. A new thing I'm really enjoying learning about is writing poetry. I've started reading this book of like how to write poetry that's written by Stephen Fry. He's very funny, and I just wrote some poems in like iambic pentameter, and it was so fun. And I like they rhymed and everything. I'm like, look at this. It's just fun. It's cool to think about words in that way. So I'm really enjoying that. And a third thing I'm enjoying learning about, what am I a little obsessed with? Honestly, heated rivalry. It's almost done now, but a moment in time, time capsule. It's February 2026. What's one of the things I'm enjoying learning about? Gay hockey romance novels and the world of it. And through it, just the hockey, learning about that, learning about Canadian culture. I already knew about that, but enjoying it. So that's what I'm going to say. Oh, I guess I also could say just like learning about how to be a human and philosophy and spirituality and impacting the world. Those are like life missions, and I'm enjoying learning about those ongoing as well. Being a human on the planet. And so then, three new skills I want to learn. One of my goals for my 40s is to write this fictionalized memoir I have in my head. And I want to learn how to do it. And I think it'll be fun to learn how to do it. I do not have a goal of anyone reading it, but I still want to do it because it's been living in me for a while. And I think it's going to be time to come out in the 40s. So that's it. I'm just going to say that one skill because I can't think of any others that I want to learn. And, there's only so much time in the day. And there's a lot of things that it's not about new skills I want to learn, but practices I want to continue. So I want to continue to dance lots, write in many different forms. I want to continue to podcast. So like there's plenty of skills I've already learned. So I'm not really that keen to learn a bunch new more right now. One new learning thing at the time. Everything else, maintenance, habit forming, practices, I'm into that. What are 3 books I want to read? I mean, 3 of the ones that are already existing on my Kindle that I've barely started, that I've half started. So I do have an Indigo gift card, so I am going to go look and see if I'm going to buy a book. Though, to be honest, I might just buy the physical copies of Heated Rivalry because I only have them on my Kindle right now. So those are books. So I guess this is supposed to be time capsule. So I'm supposed to like say things and then in the future be like, wow, I don't even remember that book, or wow, that book is now everything to me. So what's on my Kindle here? Okay. I haven't read this one at all. Something to Hold On To by Kate Robson. Yes, because Sarah Polley was promoting it, and I love Sarah Polley. So I think it is kind of a self-help ways to think of life. I'm actually not sure, but Sarah Polley recommended it, and I love her. So reading that. I'm halfway through reading A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas, which is part of that Court of Thorns and Roses series, ACOTAR. And it's Dragon, I'm not going to lie. But I would like to read it all just to say I did. But it's not fully holding my attention. Yes, Stephen Fry, The Ode Less Traveled. That's the name of the poetry book that I've started reading, and it's fun. And then something I have not read at all, but is here on my Kindle because it was recommended at the online choir last week, is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. It looks like it's actual real fiction, and my brain recently has not really loved actual real fiction, has more enjoyed light fare. But I'm curious. I'll be curious to see what it shows. How it goes. Yes. So those are some books. There you go. I've said some things. My best learning resources. Now, it definitely is just all the internet now, isn't it? But also my children. Sorry, that's like cheesy, but true. My children are a learning resource for me now. Yeah, all my relationships in my life, my body, nature. 3 things I want to achieve in my life. Yeah, I want to practice repeatedly achieving the state of satisfaction. And I know this seems like the opposite of achieve, but like being able to be satisfiable, I think that's a quality I want to continue to cultivate in my life. I would love genuinely, here's like vision time. I would love to continue to cultivate and co-create a more human form of healthcare. And I do it in my small circles, and I would love to see that continue to grow. And so part of that's folks listening to this podcast for sure, or listening to me speak or whatever. But also directly, like I'm, just at the start of my journey being the site director for this new residency site opening up. And I would love to feel through that, ideally a more humanizing, positive, connective impact on my local medical community through the lens of teaching to bring people closer together and in more deeper, meaningful relationship with each other. And I think that would be like, if that's sort of my legacy in medicine, those things, I would be very happy with that. That's for sure. And the next thing I want to achieve is I just think like really exploring and deepening and um, stretching, even with the definition of like what lifelong friendships can look like in meaningful relationships. That's the other thing. It's real like when you're on your deathbed stuff, I like the people that I met and connected with and held meaningful space for, and they held it for me. Those are my achievements. What two things do I need to learn to be successful in my eyes? Yes. So what do I need to learn to be successful in my eyes? To learn what I want and what animates me and what fuels me, and to then learn the ongoing practice and skill of deeply protecting that and creating and holding space for that. That's the whole thing, in my opinion. So good. This is fun. Are you guys having fun? I've been feeling like, a little teary, but I thought I was going to really cry at this, but instead I've been kind of just delighted and having a nice time. So hopefully you are too. Okay, now leave the legacy time. Time travel. What am I doing in 10 years? Okay, so I actually wrote down some things about this. So I guess now's the time that I will read them. Actually, before I read those, I think I'll go back and read. I'd written a bit of a list of things I could think of that's extremely non-exhaustive of what the last 10 years, what have I done in the last 10 years? So in my 30s, basically. How were my 30s? These are some things that I did in my 30s. I spent the whole 10 years in family practice. I had already started and I'd already joined the practice I was in now. So that's not new in my 30s, but that certainly continued through my 30s. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. That was at the beginning, in my early 30s, before I had the children and the fatigue of life. But I did do that. So that's kind of cool. I gave birth and started the project of raising 2 humans. And I would say of anything I've ever achieved or success of my life, I would just say the experience of that, even just the physical event of that, holy moly. And the raising of that. I think that I didn't put that in my legacy or whatever. I guess I will down here, but that's something I just will always be so grateful I had the privilege of doing. Oh, here we go. There's tears. I love them. They're so sweet. They gave me candy for my birthday, and it was more candy that they would like than I would like, but actually I'll like it too. So that's beautiful. What else did I do in my 30s? Survived a pandemic so far, but I'm out of it. I'm 40 and I'm still here. Survived a pandemic, a global historic disruption of our lives. Did that in my 30s. I experienced a cancer journey with my husband, Francis, and with 2 very small children at the time. And yeah, we got through that together, and, so proud of him for, proud of is a funny word. Well, but I am proud of how he approached it, and I'm proud of how I approached it. And I'm grateful that he is here. I am grateful that he is here. I also experienced some significant ruptures and changes in my wider family that obviously I'm not going to get into in detail on a public podcast, but those very much shaped my 30s. I started 2 podcasts. I gave 3 keynotes. I joined a startup media company. What's up, HC? I remained in family medicine, but changed almost everything about how I practice family medicine, including adding a practice partner. Hello, Amy. Moving clinic locations, but like with my colleagues, moving through multiple staff and one colleague retirements, taking on learners. That's like been the newest, biggest thing for sure. I went through 4 therapists and 5 coaches. I think that's important to say. I didn't even list how many self-help books I read, but I could probably count on one hand how many self-help books I finished. Like probably just Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. I don't even know if I finished any of her other books. So there's that. Finished 3 coaching certifications. Yes. So those are some of the things I did in my 30s. Oh, now that I'm thinking about it, I joined and then helped found an online choir for female physicians. That feels significant to me. I went to the Eras tour. I can't believe I didn't list that. Extremely historical, significant moment, and became a Swiftie. Very important. I'm sure there's others. Those are the ones. Those are my highlights. Okay. So that was what I did in the past 10 years. So what am I doing in 10 years? So the way I'm going to put it is what am I hoping to do in my 40s? So over the next 10 years, here's some hopes and dreams. Write poetry often, dance often, said that already. Write a fictionalized memoir of my younger years. Yes. Build on this beautiful web of interconnected magical healthcare humans and all shine brighter together. Yes. Be the best mom gardener. And that makes sense. There's this carpenter slash versus gardener metaphor of parenting that I can't remember if I've actually brought up on the podcast. I think I'm going to bring it up soon. But anyway, just to say, be the best mom of these 2 boys because in 10 years, they will be 16 and 18. I will be almost done. I'll be done parenting them as children. Like my oldest will be technically legally an adult, right? And so that makes me really want to hold a ton of space for them, but not all the space because I know I parent best when I'm not hyper focused on them. But I know that that's a significant and important priority for me, for sure. Continuing to dig deeper and relate wider in all of my relationships. Bravely exploring what the next 10 years of marriage and co-parenting look like with Francis, my husband. Likely including a lot more care for our family, like, aging parents for both of us. And also I feel quite honored to have friends as well as many of my colleagues like in my office who are 10 years plus older than me, and witnessing them go through what they're going through or have gone through with that sandwich generation feeling. I know that this next decade will at least be the start of that. And so another reason that all this creating space stuff I can't stop talking about just is so essential, because being adaptive to that and knowing that what I choose to prioritize is going to shift depending on the needs of people around me. But I want to do it with the integrity of knowing like how to honor myself through it. So knowing that's going to be coming up. Create art in any and all forms that arise and delight. Yes. Love my body through time and transitions. I'm already feeling the effects of being now 40, changes in even like my cycle in that whole system, and knowing it is likely I will go through menopause in the next 10 years. I mean, maybe it could be later, I know, but just based on how it's already changing, I wonder. And that will be potentially a big transition or not. I don't know. But it's I know it can be quite a significant one. And knowing, I have certainly passed the time where patriarchal society values how I look and my contributions in certain ways. And I am planning to allow my body and my face and my hair to show signs of aging without much alteration. And I don't say that thinking that that's the only correct way to do it, but that is my intention, mostly because that whole creating space thing and all that stuff takes a lot of time and energy and money, and I just rather play the ukulele or whatever instead. So that means that I've already noticed a need and an intention to do practical work of really loving how my body is now and how my body will continue to shift. Um, so that lovingly tending to friendships for sure. Co-creating a beautiful human culture at work, at Mac, at any and all spheres I may travel to, and keep speaking to new humans for sure. I don't mean like babies though. Babies, sure. But like speaking, widening the impact of the notions of humanizing healthcare, not in the evangelical way of my youth per se, but sort of like, but as a way of just loving myself and loving humanity. And I just think that feels like my mission statement. So there you go. I actually think I answered that by going through that list. Yeah. Anything else from this that I'd want to say? I feel like what I just said is what I'd like people to remember about me for sure. And the things I'm proud of is what I've just said and what I want to contribute to society. Yes. So those are the things I just said. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. Anything else for the time capsule? I just jumped right to like the deep mission statement stuff because that is where I love being. But what about the rest of this? What would I buy with an extra $5? I do love a little snack. What can you buy for $5? Oh, I love Reese's peanut butter cups, the big ones with Reese's pieces inside. Though one of my sons bought me red velvet peanut butter cups, Reese's peanut butter cups, so I will try those. And I guess you can ask me if you ever meet me what I thought because I haven't tried them yet. With an extra $20, literally came to me, it's like, put it towards the mortgage or something. I know it's only $20. It's so silly. And $50. If you're in the $20 to $50 range, I'm looking at stationery. I'm looking at journals, even though I'm using a Rocketbook, which is like a erasable, reusable journal, but it's just not hitting the same. So I've switched back to paper. So probably would be like stationery, nice pens. At $50, I could buy, I forget how much are Mandy's, I'm wearing one of Soap Note Ink Mandy Tam's sweaters. I've got the heart on one. And I feel like, I can't remember what they are, but I feel like they're under $50. So I would probably like go to Soap Note Ink and like buy another warm fuzzy sweater because I love them so much. My coolest day this year was when? This past year, gosh, my coolest day. I will say, though there's a lot of pain and challenge with how sick I was, but there were some really cool moments when I went to Nashville in August. I would say that was a very cool day. So that's the one that's popping to my head. But honestly, like I really love regular days. If this was 2 years ago, I'd be like, Era Store, and that would be like very obvious. But like beyond those kind of ones, like I really love actually another really cool day was the Canadian Women Physicians Online Choir. We had a fall sing meetup at this beautiful barn that Meg, one of our choir members, it's on her family's property. And that was a really cool day. That was really beautiful. So I'll say that one as well as just like regular days of like hanging out with my kids. 2 TV shows I never miss: Heated Rivalry, and we're rewatching Veep. Actually, I've only seen the first season, so that's what we're watching now. Is that one I'd never miss? I don't know. You don't have things that you never miss anymore because it's all streaming, so you just watch it and then it's over. You know what I mean? The coolest thing I wear is Soap Note Ink sweatshirts with anatomic cartoons on them. Today's goofiest fashion craze. What's the goofiest fashion? I'm really trying to get behind wide leg jeans. I have a pair and I'm not that pleased with them. There's so much extra fabric. And I know that skinny jeans are like way out, but I miss them. I might go buy myself. Will they sell them in the store today? We'll find out. What kind of computers do I use at school? I guess I'd say at work. I'm a Mac user personally. It's a point of not friction, but a point of difference in our household because my husband's firmly PC, but I'm a Mac user. So I use a Mac, like an iMac Pro laptop, and we use like iMacs and like mini Macs at work. And that's what I use at home too. So there you go. And that's what I said. I want an iMac. So my dreams came true. Woohoo. The vehicle I would choose for myself, already said, the van. Though, if someday I could have a metallic blue car, does not have to be a VW Bug, and I think I actually wouldn't want that anymore, but like, that would be very fun. So that's a little dream. Maybe in 10 years, or maybe at the time I'm 66, right? Or I said I'm going to do this again at 66. 66-year-old Joan, you got that metallic blue car yet? Let's see. My friends will remember me most for, I guess you tell me, y'all. What do you think? The movie I most want to own. Again, what is owning movies anymore? It's just whatever out there in the ether. So, but you know what I watched? It's not a movie, but it's better than a movie that I rewatched on one of the streaming things. Pride and Prejudice, the BBC miniseries version with Colin Firth. It stands up. It stands up so hard. So that is like, I don't think I'd quite discovered that yet, but I know I discovered it along with, like, our family got obsessed with it. We had the VHS and then we bought the DVDs later to support the cause. And oh, just the loving looks on that little Colin Firth's face when he's just staring at Lizzie and being in love with her in the grumpiest way possible. It's very dreamy. So that's what I'm going to say. Maybe I want to own that somehow again. The class I like most and why? Yeah, that's my sport. My sport is not soccer. My sport is dancing and singing. Is it a sport? It is now. Junk food. What do I buy? What does it cost? Reese's peanut butter cups with the Reese's Pieces in it. I already said that. Cool Ranch chips or barbecue chips. And for pops, ginger ale. Love ginger ale. Specifically Canada Dry. We have Schweppes in the basement, so I'm drinking it, and I'm like, what is this? This is not as good. Top 3 tunes. Yikes. Okay, I'm going to do top 3 artists, because how can you just choose 3 songs? Like, I'm looking at, I was so, you're just learning the hits back then. So you weren't streaming everything all the time. So Taylor Swift, of course. Maggie Rogers. And who else do I really listen to a lot? Gosh, it is just mostly Taylor Swift, isn't it? I have some playlists. I just watched, I've been listening to some like soundtrack playlists that I've made. So just watched Sinners, which is another really good movie. And I have a playlist of that. And I have a Heated Rivalry soundtrack playlist. So I'm going to say those, even though, what is that? Yes, there you go. Well, this has been an hour, so I definitely should cut it off. Any last things? Oh, yes. I had one last sort of list that I wrote when I was just thinking of, again, what I wanted to include in this time capsule, what I want to remember about this time that's gotten me here. And think, so that was my future. I already talked about that. I guess, yes, I'm going to send some messages to 66-year-old self. But before that, these are some lessons from my 30s. Okay. In no particular order. This is very stream of consciousness. Okay. Now is a great time to start therapy. You can't outrun that thing you've been avoiding facing. Fire as many therapists as you need to in pursuit of yourself. Say the thing you're afraid will break you or them. The response will always bring you more freedom than heartache. Your kids will trigger the shit out of you so many times, daily even. That's the lesson. Growing up means learning that you too will fail, will hurt others, will have limits. Abandon as many books and shows and hobbies and exercise regimens as you need to find your genuine renewable sources of joy and pleasure. Pleasure is the measure in the bedroom, but also everywhere else in your whole life. You have no idea what strength you have. Some of your greatest fears will come true and they will not kill you. Some dreams you hadn't even dared to dream will come true and they are only the beginning. Everything changes when you stop solving for safety and start solving for joy. That last one, when I wrote it down, I said, period. I put little brackets around it. I'm like, I think that's the secret of life. secret of life. So those are my lessons from my 30s and from prior, but I mean, it all adds up cumulatively. And just looking back, this past decade has been significant, all those things happening. And yeah, I'm just feeling such tenderness and warmth and gratitude for sweet 13-year-old self, sweet 30-year-old self, sweet 39-year-old self yesterday. And for all the ways what she had to learn and then unlearn and learn and then unlearn about not making enemies and being a good girl and being a brainer, and the ways those things felt hard, but also how they got me here. And so I don't need to feel embarrassed or ashamed of any of them. And I'm just really loving on all those versions right now. And then, yeah, with that, just thinking ahead, 66-year-old Joan, 26 years from now. Hey, girl, is that disrespectful? Respect your elders, Joan. Come on. Oh, um, yeah, I'm thinking about who you will be at 66. I do have a hope that you will be here, and I know it's not guaranteed that you will. Also have a hope that, say, your husband will still be here, and I know that's not guaranteed, but I hope that for you. And your kids, of course, hope they're still here, but also hope they're out of the house and thriving. Won't that be nice? So these are my wishes for you, 66-year-old self. I know it's not likely that at least all of your parents and parents-in-law and like that generation will still be there. And that means that you'll have had to go through some very particular and significant expressions of grief and bereavement that will be complex. And I know that you'll have done it beautifully and messily and with humanity. And yeah, I honor that now, I think, by taking those relationships seriously, but still in a way that honors myself. And I forgive myself for the ways that I will look back and wish I did things differently. I'm doing that right now for sure. Um, and yeah, I hope you've gotten to live a lot more life and maybe seen a couple new cool places. Travel isn't a strong passion of mine, but it is cool I mean, it could be a new place down the block. Actually, that's one thing. I hope that a sense of stronger community, even with your neighbors, especially right now in this time where I'm seeing, in other parts of the world where how the significance and sacredness of neighbors can be really important, especially if, say, governments are violating human rights, that it can be your neighbors that actually are your saving grace and that we can find ways to rely on each other. So I'm adding that even to my goals of in my 40s, actually. And I'm hoping that, yeah, my 66-year-old self is just surrounded by a really beautiful, rich community and has cultivated and offered and received belonging in a lot of ways that I know is already starting now. But I hope that for you then, 66-year-old me. And yeah, those are the things I can see. And I thank you for the wisdom that you offer me because I don't know if I talked about future self stuff, but I'm I'm imagining her offering me advice. And I'm grateful for it. Uh, yeah, I think those are the big things. So, thanks for listening / watching. Oh, I forgot to. One other thing. Actually, this is interesting. I had these two books maybe represent the journey in a picture, and I'll describe them in case, again, you're not watching on YouTube. So here are two books that show a bit of a journey that I've gone on. So the book one is my childhood Bible that, if for those that can't see, is completely covered in duct tape and then even electrical tape on the spine. And then I've sort of written the word Bible in duct tape, which is pretty crafty of me. On the back, my camp name, Keto, from my evangelical Christian camp, a bunch of church bulletins still in it, and plenty of underlining. Did a lot with that. So that's like past self. And then present self, my poetry book. This is a book. I received this book as a part of my um, advanced certification in feminist coaching. One of the certifications I did. And it's, got naked ladies on it. Beautiful naked ladies. And has my name on it. And that I just feels like a bit of a journey of like, and it makes sense. When you're little, you do a lot of receiving and digesting and soaking up the world and soaking up what people tell you the world is. And that's a beginning. It's a start. And so, and there's tons of wisdom and beauty in this book, the Bible book. And now I'm still certainly learning. I don't think I'm done learning from others, but a focus of mine is creating and digesting what I've learned and then offering my version to others. That's what this whole podcast is. And that's what writing can be, though there's tons of poetry that's just for me. But even then, it's still for me and sort of me creating and expressing outwardly versus just digesting as if others know the truth more than me. So this is about it's still about me seeking the truth, which is the best version I can say of reading the Bible, is seeking the truth. And, but now I'm seeking it through my own lens and my own creativity and my own magic. And I love that. All right. Well, with that, happy birthday to me. I'm going to go have a snack. That's definitely going to be red velvet peanut butter cups. Going to go shopping. Going to have a nap later. Going to hang out with my family. Thanks for watching and listening as always. And yeah, maybe you don't have a time capsule like I did, but maybe you're not near a significant birthday, but at any time, feel free to consider and reflect back on past self, future self, because it's a really valuable way of things coming into clarity of what's actually important and what matters to you. And it's a really meaningful way to just like deepen your relationship with yourself. And you're the only companion you have through this life. So might as well enjoy the journey with her or him or them or whatever your pronouns are with yourself. All right. See you next time. Bye. I would love to take this work deeper with you. Visit joanchanmd.com today and discover my growing menu of options for restorative medical education to suit your learning needs. I offer one-on-one coaching, customized workshops, and self-study courses that allow you to connect not only with my work on a deeper level, but also with other healthcare humans just like you. So if you want to start humanizing your work in healthcare to a deeper level and do it in community with others, please visit joanchanmd.com and find those options and what fits you and your life today.